Hi guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners War video. It's been a while, but yesterday was free rune removal and I did make some upgrades to my siege defenses, and today we're going to be talking about one defense particularly, and I'll be making follow-up videos for the other defenses, but we'll go one by one. But today we're going to be talking about the Carcano Iris Triana defense and how I made the updates, why I made the updates, and why it wasn't doing well, and the misunderstandings that I had when I first created this defense. I know some people think that these videos are not valuable or they don't want to see these kind of videos anymore, but really for me, who had a hard time figuring out good examples or finding out some good examples of the Carcano defenses, I think these defenses will help out other people as well. One reason why it was hard for me to find examples of this defense is because, first of all, I'm in a lower tier guild, which is a G1 guild, and most of the members in this guild are Conqueror level or lower. There's a few that is in Guardian level, higher than me, much higher than me. However, they don't really follow the siege meta. Their defenses is all over the place. It works, but I think it works because it's mostly in G1. I think if it's in G2 or G3, it'll work less, but they don't really care. They're just teams that they're speed teams, but they're not really meta teams, but they just work well because their runes are just so much better than the other G1 players out there. But for me, I really wanted to follow the current meta, so I wanted to figure out how to rune these Carcano defenses, and I wanted to know an example for the Carcano Iris Triana, and I made one thinking that this was gonna work, but really it wasn't. I can't really show you guys the defense log right now because they're all reset, but my Carcano Iris Triana before the change, before I made the updates, was getting a 10-9 win rate, which is not that bad, but I was expecting something more because I believed that my rune quality was above average compared to the normal G1 players out there. However, the defense rate wasn't portraying that, so I asked around, I asked my Discord, showing my Carcano or getting some info from other people asking about their Carcanos, and I figured out that how I was building Carcano was incorrect and how I was building Triana was incorrect. So I'm going to talk about that today. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys think that these kind of videos are still valuable. And yeah, let's get right into the video. Like I said, Carcano is still a very strong defense, but now with the Carl out, I think Carcanos have to be built slightly differently. Well, I did say different in the previous video, but really it wasn't different. It has to be built differently than how I built Carcano before. Because for me, Carcano was built with speed, crit damage attack, or HP crit damage attack. They have an attack slot 6 and a crit damage slot 4. And I asked around, and I figured out that the higher tier guilds aren't doing that. Their Carcanos, unless they have like god tier runes, most of their Carcanos are on speed, HP, and I did not know that, but I'm going to show you guys my Carcano now after I made that change. I like to talk with Iris first, so let's go to the Iris. My Iris right now is on Despair Revenge. I think this is the build that most people go for that have an Iris. Is the main stat is the Despair set because that's the set that brings in the most RNG, and the Revenge set, which is also bringing in a lot of RNG. My Iris is not that fast, and the one slot that is bringing me down is this slot right here, the slot 4 Revenge HP, and it's because of this 20 speed. I really need to get a 23, 24, or even a 25 where it gives me 3, 4, 5 more speed, so I could have her at 275 speed or 273 speed, somewhere around that range where I think is much better. However, my Iris is like this. She's going first. Her entire set is bringing in RNG to the fights. If you're looking at this Iris for a guide, for a reference, then if you're in a lower siege, or if you're in just mid game or early game, and if you're looking at my Iris for a reference, then your Iris doesn't need to be this fast, but just look at the sets, because I really think that it should be at least on Despair. The subset can be something else like Will, Energy, Guard, whatever, but I think Revenge and Will is the best, but Revenge brings in more RNG. You should make it tanky. This entire team should be relatively tanky because, first of all, Iris is not that fast, so you do want to make it illusion proof, because although Carcano gets a glancing buff when he's in that stance, if you get outsped and if the Carcano is not in that stance, then there's still a very good chance the Lucian could crit once or twice with 100 crit rate. So knowing that, your entire team should be relatively tanky and Lucian proof, and I'll be showing that later what I mean. I'm going to test it with my Lucian, this defense, and show you what I mean, but that's what I think. The one thing you have to focus is on the set, Despair Revenge, Despair Will, make sure it's on Despair. Number 2 is speed. Your Iris is going first, unit going first, and is stripping and stunning. You want the strip so that Carcano will put in the defense break and do the damage. And finally, artifacts that take less damage. I think for Iris it's also good to put skill 3 recovery, because this heals by 15%, and if you put skill 3 recovery artifacts, then she'll heal even more. You can see for me the artifacts are mostly catered towards taking less crit damage, so you could go for that as well. But this is my Iris. Now the second unit that's going that had the most changed was Carcano, and it's on Violent Will, 242 speed. The crit rate is kind of low, you want it closer to 80, and the accuracy closer to 30, that's what I believe. But I am not getting any more accuracy from artifacts because I just want to go for more of the damage aspect. Speed, HP. My Carcano is not fully scaled up, so ignore that. But you can see that it has 30k HP. It has a good amount of attack for a speed HP build, and the defense is actually pretty good as well. It's 1200. The artifacts is doing more damage, additional damage by HP, taking less damage, crit damage received by 7%, additional damage by 7% of attack, and skill 1 crit damage plus 9%. So I think that artifact is good. And then this second artifact, you're gonna be surprised because I have one really tanky stat here, which is damage received from dark minus 21%. So this is for the Carl, so I'm hoping that this will help. I have to re-roll this, but I don't have any of those conversion stones, so I'm holding off on this, but I do have to re-roll this for something else, and I'm just waiting for the stones. But I'm hoping this 21% is a lot, and the Carl has no way of one-shotting my Carcano, so I hope that's the case. But yeah, I really like the build. I'm really looking forward to how he'll do. And then finally the Triana, I actually thought that I wasn't going to be able to make a Triana that's Lucian proof on a crit damage build. However, I was wrong. I was able to make my Triana Lucian proof. You can see it has plus 30k HP. The defense is pretty good too. The speed is pretty on point on 232. I think that's not bad. And then finally it has 60% crit rate and 134 crit damage. The resistance and accuracy, the resistance is pretty low, but I gave it a will step for a reason. And finally the accuracy is 28%. I think that is pretty good. If you look at the artifacts, you can see that it's taking less crit damage minus 6%, and defense proportion to lost HP up to 21%. This one is a lost stat. I'm waiting for a conversion stone again to roll this, but I think this is good. And here I'm taking less damage from wind, minus 14%, so making sure that's Lucian proof. And then crit damage received minus 4. Damage received from water is not that helpful, but you know, there's a lot of people that come in with those vigor comps or the Lulu or the Frankenstein, you know, the water Frankenstein comps, so maybe this will help a little. And crit damage up to 8% as the enemy's HP condition is good. Also helps because mine is actually on a crit damage build. But yeah, I think Violent Will is the way to go. She's really tanky. I'm actually really happy with her build. I thought that I was never gonna be able to make a Triana this tanky with the crit damage build, but I was wrong. And she's really good. I'm really happy with her build. So again, if you're looking at this guide, well, not a guide, if you're looking at this update, my Siege defense update as a reference, then please keep in mind that this is a G1 perspective, a G1 defense. So if you're in a lower guild, or if you're in mid-game, early mid-game, and you still want to make this defense because you have the Iris, then just make sure your stats can be lower, but you should make sure that the turn order is Iris, Carcano, Triana, and overall it should be Lucian proof in your tier. So now I'm going to test this defense out to show what I mean by that. My Lucian hits for 17k, but I just noticed that I don't have runes for this anymore, so it won't hit for 17k anymore. It's going to hit a lot less because I'm going to use a Kabila. But I already tested this before with an actual you know, 70k Lucian, and it survived like a boss. But I'm going to test it with this, just making sure that I go first and we're gonna see how much damage that it does per card, and I think it does like 14k on the Triana. So when we go like this and we look at this,
it survived like a boss.
so 13k. Oh, it actually crit 3 times. So let's try that again. It usually doesn't crit 3 times, but yeah, so it does 16k. Wow. But you can see that it survived, and in this case the Lucian team can't win anymore. Most likely. Yeah, most likely it can't win anymore. There you go. But anyways guys, this was the first defense that I updated, that I upgraded. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys think this was a good upgrade, if you guys think that this will do well in G1 Siege, or it could even fit in G2 Siege, then please give me a like to show that this is a good defense. But if you guys think that this is not a good defense, or however I built it is wrong, it won't do well, then please put in the comment below. Tell me what you think I'm missing. Maybe the speed tuning is a little off, and I do understand that because there's a big speed difference between the Iris 272 and the Carcano, which is 242. So a 30 speed difference there, but I really don't think that's a big issue because we are hoping for the Iris to strip and stun. Yeah, I do understand that the Carcano should be like 10 speed faster. I believe it should be like in the 250 range. But if you think that's really important, then put it in the comment below so I know, and you can emphasize it to me that that is really important, and I should make an upgrade. But yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please smash that like button, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.